Now, this first topic proves that the future is here, but not everyone is going to like it. How many of you here would have a microchip implanted in your hand, for instance, if it allowed you to do things like pay for your groceries or log onto your computer just by waving your hand? Anyone? Very soon, you may have the chance. This is obviously sounds like something like it's a cool idea for some folks, but is it too invasive? Because there's actually a firm now that offers embedded microchips to its employees so that they can do things like log into computers, pay for snacks in the vending machines.
Get through a
This is happening.
area.
This is happening. And the volunteers, I guess there were 60 of them, who went ahead and had this chip implanted, and they're using it.
Well, and the caveat, this is a Wisconsin company, corporation, and the caveat is that there's no GPS. So they're not tracking your...
So Says who? Wait.
They say.
So if I can pay for a snack, they know where I am.
Like, I don't,
My bigger concern is that this could be done ultimately against people's will at some point in time. Look, we live in a very fragile society right now.
Yeah.
And could you see...
I don't like the way that was being done. I mean, nothing against the guy doing it, but...
And it can migrate, too.
Well, it can migrate,
Yeah.
and you know, the infections in the hand upper extremities can be devastating. I don't know if I liked the scenario where how they were doing it, like get in line and boom, you get your chip.
Right, and that's a big risk just to buy a snack from a vending machine or log into a computer, right?
It's more than that. It's getting into security areas.
Okay, so here's the deal. I'm an employee at a highly secure facility. Someone wants to get in, all they have to do is chop my hand off. I'm not kidding. That's why this stuff freaks me out. And granted, I've learned most of this from the Bourne movies and Mission Impossible. What they do, they'll take people's eyeballs out and
It's real.
Tom Cruise got
real.
chipped too, didn't he, in Mission Impossible? But just think if you get a chip with your credit card, like you could.
But
when you go to dinner, you go, yes, can I have the check, please? And you just hold, you hold your hand out. You don't have to pull the thing. I
think that the one caveat to my comment, I don't think there's one person in here who wants to have a chip in them for things like buying snacks from a vending machine, but. Medically speaking, there are a lot of potential uses because if it's more so like a supercomputer, it could control drug dosaging. It could alert you to abnormal vital signs and send reports to your physician. If you were with someone who had, for instance, heart disease, this little chip would be a small computer and it could potentially save lives and alert you or your provider to troublesome circumstances. Again, it would require you to give up a lot of freedom because it's going to mean that someone somewhere knows a lot about you.
Including maybe your insurance company or life insurance people.
And that's the big fear. And the only way this works and we all stay safe is if there are a lot of protocols in place. Look, it's so easy right now for people to steal your information online. Why wouldn't it be just as easy for someone to steal access?
This is totally a voluntary program.
This one. Yeah.
You have to remember that. Well, I don't think it would ever get to that.
I do. I think some companies may say you don't have to, but then they may treat you a little differently if you choose not to.
They put pressure on you
to do it.
Drew, that ice cube that you had earlier that was a little firm,
yes.
I microchipped you.
Uh-oh.
But I tell you who's not going for this.
I'm gonna have to be a good boy now.
People who like to cheat, they're going down.
Oh, yeah,
they're going down. And from a practical standpoint, what about, like, you know, when you low-key don't like your boss and you want to tell them you're going to your Nana's house or you're sick but you really want to go to the beach? Like, how are you going to do that if you have a chip?
Well, you can do that with people's phones now. You can GPS track where they're at, right?
Yeah, but I mean, at your employer, that's different from it.
Everyone knows where you are nowadays, it seems like. And this is one more step where you're right. You're no more sick days, no more anything.
But to your point, there is a place potentially for somebody that's sick, that's impaired, that needs to be watched, that somebody with dementia, Alzheimer's, somebody needs their medications.
And microchip technology, there are companies out there using this technology as a new drug delivery system. Again, these little mini computers, so to speak. They can be very smart.